everyone, this is the Crypto Kingdom. This is the Crypto Kingdom, guys. We want to say hello, and we hope you are doing well tonight. Sorry, a little technical glitch there. We are in the midst of another huge pump, guys. Dogecoin is pumping strong. It has not let up. So we wanted to come to you live, bring you the information, the latest in kind of technical analysis, and just all the good that we can bring you in terms of basic information. The purpose here of the channel, guys, is to bring you accurate information in a timely manner so that you can essentially maximize your returns. I'm trying to bring up a little bit of a side action here so we can look into, let's look back a little bit. I've got like two systems going on right now. For those of you returning, congratulations on being, essentially, guys, you're in the hottest, you're in one of the hottest investments that are around right now. So we are very happy to be able to bring you this information. Now we're gonna draw some comparisons today. Okay, as we look at this, we'll go ahead and turn this music down. We're going to draw some comparisons to essentially what has occurred recently. Now, as we look at what has occurred recently in the price action of Dogecoin, I want to focus back in and around the 16th of April. You guys know that was not long ago. That was within the last month. Okay, within the last month, we experienced a huge trajectory. If you guys will recall this time, I think it was over a weekend. We had this original kind of run up here. And then we just saw an enormous move. Now, this move here has been a bit different. It has felt a lot different. It's been a lot more consistent. What we did is we essentially retraced, okay? This expression, this kind of negative price movement here, essentially is a retracement. And let me mute that music. It essentially represents a retracement, okay, after this double top. This retracement here was the golden pocket, okay? We deal a lot with Fibonacci's here. That was the golden pocket as we look at this and we draw this Fibonacci. And today I have the price action in yellow so you guys can see it very clearly. I want to make sure that everyone can view that. Now with the Fibonacci, guys, the numbers are always listed here to the right, okay? And this is that 61.8. That 61.8 to the 65% is essentially what got hit here during that massive kind of meltdown, if you guys will recall that, by some other larger coins, etc. It took quite a hit there. It has recovered so smoothly. I had put up here, if you guys will remember in the previous, I think the previous video, that I'd like to see it go somewhere up into kind of this area. That was the number 1, okay? I had highlighted this number 1. Then I have up here the number 2, okay? And today in a bit we'll talk about Harmony 1. We'll talk about some different, different holdings, maybe Bitcoin, whatever you guys wanted to discuss later. But I do want to go over all this on Dogecoin. Doge is kind of our favorite right now. Great price action. When I say great price action, what do I mean? I mean, we have chosen to focus on it. And guys, we've dealt with Doge for a long time, okay? But individually, and we know a lot of you have as well. But when I talk about price action, I'm talking about, say, the number of days that it took Dogecoin to retrace here. It took literally only 2 days, okay, for Doge to retrace. And a lot of you would say, well, that's highly speculative. It's a little bit dangerous. It is if you're involved. Now, we weren't involved. We were involved in delivering pricing targets around this area and around the 25 cents. We released a video. That's what we do here. We give you pricing targets. Okay, these pricing targets enabled you to get involved at the 25 cents and to ride this up. We were live during this session right in here, wherein it capped out at about 65 to 75% of that trade. So we were live there as well, saying, that's the coach has kind of blown the football or the whistle. Has blown the whistle. So that was very nice. That was a great trade. That was 60 some odd percent after being involved in this one, which is 70%. Another huge run up here. A lot of people missed this a little bit, maybe missed this. You got in and around videos, etc. We definitely had this scheduled up. And guys, we didn't ride this down all the way. Okay, we did not ride that down and watch I didn't want to watch anyone's value of their account decrease by 50%. Didn't want to see that. Didn't have to see that, guys. You guys see that Elon Musk is even buying and selling Bitcoin. His corporate, I'd say, nest egg that they have, their store of value. So trading is part of the game. Now, it becomes a little bit, I'll say, in reference to kind of why I've chosen it becomes evident, I'll say, in terms of why I've chosen to try and draw an analogy on this original price action here and what's going on here. They do represent a fantastic, I'm going to say, appreciation in price. We see a dramatic, dramatic gain in price on both of these. On one, let's just do it on a percentage basis. On one, we're currently at, since the golden pocket, we're up about let's see, 93%. So that's fantastic. You guys, you had this, we literally were on our Discord, guys. We were on the Discord. We sent out notice of this price, okay? While things were falling apart, I said at 20, it's essentially, I think it was 1948 or 19, and around there, that's the price to hit. That's just based on the mathematics. So I went solely on the mathematics. That literally was hit. It was stabilized. It was grabbed onto. And then since then, it's just done phenomenally well. You guys know there's been a technique involved by a lot of individuals to kind of trade along with this and to try and maximize gains, to try and achieve alpha, meaning if this has gone up, say 90% here, we'd like to achieve maybe 150%. That'd be nice. That is possible. If you look at the original gain here, okay, that's about, I think about 30 to 50% was possible here, depending upon whether or not you're looking at the candles, okay, 30 to 50%, or whether or not you're looking at the candles or the bar. The candles are typically going to give you, typically going to give you kind of a fuller expression and a fuller dynamic of the price than is the line chart. For instance, if you look at the candles and we go back to the original, let's see this original price movement and around April 16th, you will see that the high is at around 45 cents. The candles will take you there. If you look at the line chart, it's not going to express that. Instead of 45 cents, it's going to show you a figure in and around 40 cents. So always make sure and check your candles, okay? Check those candles and make sure that you're getting the full information in terms of the full, let's say the full data set in terms of the price action. So things are not going out of control like they were up to 45 cents in this first data set. This was kind of, looks like a relatively controlled movement. We can identify that as it's kind of being consistent with kind of an Elliott wave procedure. This kind of a double top in here. And yeah, what we have is essentially then a retracement to that golden pocket, again, the 61.8 to the 65%. Thereafter, we have just a slow, nice stair step up. A lot of people thought we'd see consolidation in this range and things just bouncing up all around the place. We expected there to be a healthy kind of slow recovery here with a few opportunities, thankfully, to get involved and to essentially capture a lower price for people who either wanted to enter or people who wanted to sell and then re-enter at a lower price. If we look at the difference, for instance, between that high and the low here, it's almost 20%, guys, between this high that it reached and the low. So if people wanted to capitalize on that additional 20%, okay, they could do so. And then their entry price is in and around here after the recapitalization, after the re-entry, and on the next move, they're up at about 36%. So that's another 20% gain in additional just due to the essentially gaining in on this heavier investment side after achieving that maximizing, let's say maximizing that gain in and around this this first kind of peak here. So it does requires watching, okay? That requires actually actively trading. I was on in a session today with an alpha trader from the, and we'll put that Discord link. I think that, guys, that's going to be in the links here. Let me find what. Shout out to James Bond. I do have some shout outs to you guys. There are some great people doing a great job. We do have now memberships available. I wrote or I didn't really write a script, but I did do a video earlier on. I wanted to let you guys know we're getting into some exclusive materials. We're going to start doing some private streams. We do cover pricing targets on this specific investment in terms of excuse me, in terms of Dogecoin. We're also going to start just featuring some exclusive content for all of you. There's another level called Basecamp. You guys can look at that, as well as just a generalized community supporter. So you guys are doing great. We're over 5,000 subscribers. We're having a great time, and I know a lot of you are making money. You're doing very well. So that's in terms of whether or not you can hit the targets, whether or not you understand the concepts. There's a lot of videos that we've already published, and I hope that you guys can look at those and that you can get excited about it. I was on the phone today with an individual, an alpha trader. Let's go ahead and I'll just say shout out to Kenny and to Kent and to Bianca or Bianquita. You guys are doing a great job, as are Chris and Al. We really have some phenomenal groups in terms of also Red Raider. I'll say shout out to Red Raider, shout out to Oz, and shout out to Kurt and what is it, V Crypto. Those guys are all doing a great job, as well as Sankit. We have a really great team, guys. Everything's coming together, and those are kind of the key supporters that you need to get in tune with, and check them out. They're definitely doing kind of incredible community work. They're just really advancing kind of where they're at in their understanding of markets. So as we look at this kind of recovery phase, we have definitely entered into a new trend. Okay, this is a new. This does turn into what would be called kind of a reversal. This is a reversal in and around the golden pocket. We have entered into, I'd say, kind of a very, very bullish. Okay, very bullish upward trend. And again, I had said one, I'd like to see the price get into here, and then the two would be up and around this area. So in the meantime, I have placed in. This was from my discussions earlier on. We're having kind of a micro trade session on the phone, and just to let you guys, just to kind of let you guys know what was involved. We were looking at the price, and it did break out of a zone. We do technical analysis here. We're very, very fond of technical analysis, and so when it broke through, it was kind of interesting because it became somewhat aggressive somewhat quickly. So a decision had to be made on a trade. I was on the Discord just talking live with somebody, and it just, during this zone, excuse me, around this zone, it seemed to have made a little bit of sense that there was a slight retracement and along this line, and that it did decide to just kind of ramp up. At least there was kind of a slight retracement, an opportunity for people to get involved at a little bit, at a little bit of a discount. It did hit on through the 38% of a retracement. If we go to the candles, that will give us a fuller line, a little bit below. Closer to the 50% retracement. So that was nice to give people a 38% retracement on that price action, guys. That equates to more profits. They can exit and re-enter at that 38% retracement. Okay, that means that's all profit for them. Once they go up, that 38% retracement turns into profits, guys. It's a lower entry spot. So that's the idea behind people who trade and want to maximize their profits or maximize the value, essentially the value of their profits. So that's what alpha is. Alpha is beating the average return, beating the return of the market. If you look at the overall market, well, since the incipiency or since the beginning of this, we can look at the value, let's say, for instance, so you guys can understand what is alpha. Okay, if we look at the value from the initiation of the trend at the bottom that I just went over to the top here, you're at 562%. That's phenomenal. Now, someone who's involved in alpha and trying to recapture all of the gains here may be looking to try and capture on, let's say, 700 to 800%. While you're making 500%, which is great, they may be trying to make 800%. They may be trying to make 1200%. Something in excess of that 500%. It's going to depend on how good they are, guys, how well they can trade. But when something like this presents incredible, phenomenal pricing action, you will see opportunities. For instance, the entirety of this move right here is completely repeated. So as you look at this, from the initiation of the trend, there's not much difference between here, and as we look at, to essentially where we're at right now, almost even to here. Now, in the midst of all of that, we have gone up to here from the base. We've retraced, and let's look at how far we've retraced on that. If we've gone up to that level, we've retraced, quite far, almost down to, let's say, past the 50% mark. So that's a 50% recapture that can be added to your profit. So we're looking at a 500% gain, in excess of a 500% gain on Dogecoin since the incipiency or since the beginning of the trend. Well, that's just from the bottom to the top, guys, to the peak, from the trough, kind of essentially the initiation to the peak or the apex right now, essentially where we're at right now, or one of these peaks. So that 600% can be raised quite a bit if we look at, well, this is a 50% retracement here that no one really needed to experience. Okay, they could have gotten out. That's an additional 50% and another run up here. So saving that money, not watching your portfolio or the value of your holdings diminish by 50%, and then making a 70% on top of that. So that's where things really become interesting. Then another 50% retracement, not needing to be experienced, guys, not needing to go through that. Then it's only just additional gain until you can get out again if you choose to sell, and then get back in. Now, people will say, well, why do you do that? It seems very fickle, or that's just not my style. If you can put together something which equates to, let's say, instead of 500 or 600%, which is phenomenal, but if you choose, hey, we got Jellica. This is very nice, very, very interesting. Jellica Valentic. Jellica, welcome to the VIP zone. that is very, very, very exciting. We want to welcome you, Jellica. We look forward to giving you some, we have to just briefly say that. That's very exciting news. Jellica's chosen to sign up for the VIP zone. Jellica, you will be getting exclusive streams, and we'll be able to share kind of exclusive insider information in terms of how we are maximizing, how we are achieving alpha. We have a very good group, and we'll be distributing, very exclusive content to you guys, and we look forward to definitely doing that. You guys look at Jellica. She is a member. She is let's just say, a very good leader. She's an exclusive VIP. She's going to be in the hunt and in the mix. So if you guys have questions throughout this, you can look to her. I would anticipate she's going to have the answers. Whether or not she has time to share them with everyone, I think that's going to be interesting. But yeah, Jellica, we look forward to seeing kind of what your experience is going to be in and around this VIP zone. And welcome. We're very happy that you were able to do that. And I don't think you'll be unimpressed at all. I think if you look back at our history, etc., you'll see that we have a lot of phenomenal pricing targets. All of these represent pricing targets, guys. These were pricing targets before the fact, meaning before they were entered into, we provided these pricing targets. Okay, before this was entered into, we provided that pricing target. Also, we provided the exit price. So we're providing the exits, okay, Jellica? We're providing the entries down here, right here. We're providing additional entries. What we do is we use a lot of the Fibonacci. So some of this, as you guys know, and you look at Jellica and wonder what she's going to really be exposed to, or what's the exclusive content. A lot of it will be instructional. A lot of it will be trying to hone in your skills and to really further develop your trading, let's say your acumen or your skill set. So that's very exciting, and we'll see how all that develops. That's just kind of a new option. We've just added that today, so we're very excited. You guys look to kind of our team captain, which is Jellica right now. That's fantastic. Welcome, Jellica. What a great new member we have. So let's go ahead and go back and revisit this price action through now a Fibonacci as we look at the pickup on that 61.8%. Okay, 61.8% retracement. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to watch the price increase. Okay, and now again, this was a price that we literally told you before it got there, and that was just based upon the mathematics, guys. Based upon the calculations, we literally stated this was going to be a support zone. That was going to be something that was going to hold. Sure enough, it held. Okay, it held, and then you got a terrific gain on that. I think the gain on just that, it's kind of hidden under the surface in terms of what all the overall price action may be. That was close to 50%. That was definitely over 40% that was achievable there. People did sell out, and guys, I know that people sold at that level. You say, well, how do we know? That's impossible. It couldn't have been done. You know how I know it's possible? Because the price went down. Okay, the sellers exerted pressure. Both right here, you can see there's a departure from the market. This move signifies a departure from the market. There's a small departure here. People wanted probably, let's say, what is that, maybe a 5 or 10%? Yeah, and around between 10 and 20%. That was actually a decent move. People said, that's fine, that meets my threshold, I'm out at 20%. Okay, people may have re-accumulated after that sell-off. They may have sold after that 20%. They may have reaccumulated in and around with a 13% discount, guys. So a lot of people are literally, working this as quickly and as I just say, what would you say, arduously. They're trading, guys. They are literally pushing into the trades, and I would just say they're pushing a lot of effort into this. It's just kind of the mentality. You guys have watched the movies. You've seen Wall Street. It's very high-paced, and that's just kind of the culture. They want to achieve. If this goes up 50%, people want to achieve, and I say people like Jellica that have entered the VIP zone. People want to achieve. If this goes up 50%, they'd like to figure out a way to make it go up 80 to 100%. If this goes up 500%, they'd like to see whether or not they can get their account to, let's say, not 500%, but let's say 750 or 850%, maybe 1,000%, maybe double what the market has done. And I'll just say that is feasibly possible given the incredible dynamics, given the incredible amount here of price action. And when I say price action, I'm literally just referring, guys, to the, let's see if we can pull up this, let's put up a polyline. If we put up the price action, guys, I'm referring to the incredible amount of vertical price action within a very, very limited amount, within the limited duration or the limited amount of time. This is an incredible amount of price action. okay? And as we look at this from here, okay, over to here, from here to here, it is essentially that you're in a straight line. Since then, though, you've accomplished all of this price action. All of that price action can be to your advantage if you're able to trade it correctly. So while this is a straight line across, granted you've already come up from this level, that's great. But while you're straight across here, and you're up since then, that's great, guys. Still want to be a part of this positive price action, always. It's a fundamental to be a part of the positive price action. And we'll explain on exactly how that's done. Okay, but in terms of this the huge swings in price, okay, you're going to see that, well, you know, between this, the 45 and this drop, there was about a 50% reduction in the value of your holdings. Now, that didn't need to occur. That cash could have been taken out, thrown kind of to the side. You could have recapitalized while the masses were experiencing what it's known as a bearish correction, guys. It's a normal part of the process. It's not negative. It just is a bearish correction, okay? Correction is as fundamental as the price going up, guys. It always occurs to some degree when the price goes up. So this incredible degree of price action is kind of the phenomenal event. It's why we're looking at Dogecoin right now, okay? When it decides to taper off like this, fantastic. We've already accumulated per the strategy. The strategy already dictates to us that we're going to accumulate something when the price goes down. They may call it buying the dip. You guys have heard that, buying the dip. It's not as sophisticated as working a retracement. A retracement just means a drop in price. When the price goes down, we try and operate as a normal participant, as a normal economics, let's say someone involved in economics or business would operate, guys. That means at a lower price, as the price goes down, we have more demand, okay? So we reserve cash, per the strategy, we reserve cash, and it's called kind of a heavyweight double down or triple down approach. Okay, it's shared by some of the largest investors in the world, guys. Some of the competitors of BlackRock, which has, I think, between a $3 and $6 trillion book to manage. It is this heavyweight double or triple down, and it essentially means there's reserve cash or heavier cash at the lower levels, which becomes engaged when the price drops. Okay, as the price is very high, guys, that's why people sell, because there's not much demand there. It's a good time to sell. It's not a good time to buy. Okay, typically. Now you can build in some fundamentals. You can build in some strength to a price to where it's relatively not as expensive. The market has had time to kind of adjust to the actual price. Okay, you can definitely do that, and it's different because it's not viewed necessarily as quite so, I'd say relatively. If we deal with the relative strength index, you'll start to get a picture of this. But it's not viewed as being so exorbitant in terms of the price. The market has had a time to kind of recognize that as maybe more reasonable, given kind of the nice, even, gentle slope, okay, the rise over run that the price has experienced. That's different kind of economically as you look at that, or in terms of a business sense, and you guys have learned that in all your basic classes. At very high prices, extremely high prices, there's just no demand. As the price drops, that's when we start to say, yeah, we're ready to invest a little bit. That's when the market overall will say, yeah, that starts to make a little bit of sense. Yes, we'll go ahead and invest a little bit. Now, as it drops, the big heavy hitters in the market are saying, you know what, we're ready to double down. And the guys, that's everything from Bloomberg to CNBC. You'll hear the right guys. I'm talking about the big right guys, the big investors. They're saying at certain levels and on larger concerns, they're saying we're willing to double down. Okay. What that does is that increases their position and their exposure in terms of volume at the lower levels. It's also perfectly in line with ordinary market behavior. Okay, and I say ordinary market behavior because a normal participant wants to have, and for instance, it's very critical as you look at this golden pocket being hit, guys. As the golden pocket is hit, let's go back to the line chart so you guys can clearly see that. As this golden pocket is struck, and guys, it's always from the original price action. I'm just going to move over that Fibonacci so we can review this real quickly. The Fibonacci, this sequence here, the 61.8, which is going to be the 61.8, okay, to the 65, is going to be the Fibonacci level, okay? That's just the 61.8 to the 65% of the retracement as measured, guys, from the base to the top of the peak all the way back down. That's 65% or 61.8% in between that, in between those ratios. It's that percentage of a retracement, Okay, it's not necessarily a bearish pattern. I don't want people to think, well, the trend has changed. It's now a bearish pattern. The overall trend is still bullish. Okay, and that's one thing we need to understand. The overall trend is still bullish. It has always remained bullish and will continue to remain bullish for Dogecoin. Please understand that. Just because we have a retracement does not mean, on the an overall retracement, does not mean that it's unhealthy or it's not doing well. To the contrary, it's a normal part of the price action. So when we know that's going to occur, that the overall price is going to experience a retracement, we start to think, well, why don't we try and profit off of that? Okay, I mean, because if the other alternative is watching our holdings decrease by 50%. Now, if we have a couple $100s, a couple $1,000, maybe it's not a big deal. We have $10,000, $20,000, maybe it's not a big deal. If we start to have, well, $100,000, maybe even $50,000, or maybe even 20, or let's say $500,000, or a few $1 million, it's not nice to look at an account with let's say $2 million in it, or $200,000, and see it go from 2 million down to 1 million, or $200,000. I mean, you start to think, you definitely understand that, or even $20,000 down to $10,000. It's very emotional for people. So we try and eliminate that. We try and look at the predictives here and say, you know what? Since we know it's going to retrace, well, I mean, that's just a part of the pricing dynamics. It's included in the software, guys. This is TradingView, okay? This is the premium, Pro Plus package, etc. Top of the line that TradingView can deliver to us. So, and we've customized it out. We turned this yellow today. We put these lines in here to kind of to match up with kind of what's been going on earlier, and it's just that this will retrace. Okay, so we might as well capitalize on that, and that's what we did. Okay, we were involved in the stream and around this area. Okay, right in and around the top. You say, well, how do you know where the top is? We were live, guys. We were literally live during this time. Okay, we were live during this time. We identified this as an entry that represented a pricing event here, a positive pricing event. While everything's going down, most of the people who get involved in the market, kind of the intrigue is, how do we make money when things go down? Okay, because that's when people lose money. That's the bad part, is when people lose money. So we focus on that in terms of the retracement levels. These levels are hit, guys. They are hit. Okay, and when they're hit, they return money. Okay, they do return. That's a pricing target right there. That's a pricing target right there. Pricing target right there. This right here is a pricing target. Okay, this is a pricing target. This is a pricing target. This is a pricing target. This gets a little bit iffy, okay? I'm gonna focus on this because it starts to bleed over. It gets a little bit messy in terms of turning into kind of an upward channel. It doesn't have as much of a retracement. So it gets a little bit interesting right here. Now, I'll say you're getting into a strong retracement right here, and it happens to be at the exact level that I was discussing. It was the first level literally out of my mouth as I was discussing this when things started to take off today. So guys, in the future, we will be doing private streams. We'll be doing things like that with our VIP level. Jellica, we do appreciate you joining that, and you'll be privy to kind of the private streams discussing kind of this level on the fly, which we were able to determine perfectly. I was on a session with an alpha trader, and we discussed his entry into this positive price action on the breakout. Okay, on the breakout, he entered, and we he determined, we discussed exactly what would be a good exit. So these are not incalculable events. These are not things that you cannot derive or extract information from the previous pricing events. In fact, technical analysis is built on a framework of taking the previous or the prior pricing, let's say the historical pricing events, and applying that behavior of the price to the current situation. So this green arrow right here, I'll just say this green arrow literally perfectly represented this price action right here. I had brought that up earlier. The second one is kind of a phase 2 possibility. And that's it's a phase 2 possibility, could occur. What I'd like to see is that the cash is taken. Well, I won't say what I'd like to see. I know what we saw. Let's just say that we had a great alpha trader who entered into this position. We were discussing the trade live, and he did, in fact, he made some money, guys. He got in on the breakout here on something that was a little bit difficult to trade because there wasn't too much retracement. Okay, and you've seen quite a correction here that seems kind of traumatic because no, we don't want it to go down, right? We don't want Dogecoin to go down. Well, it's okay, guys. The price is going to go up and it's going to go down. I think it's going to go to $1. If you guys want to know, I believe with certainty that this is going to reach $1. I just truly believe that. I want you guys to know that. I don't have a real question about that. It's a matter of when. And I don't want to say this bull cycle or the next, but I do believe it's got enough support. I believe with Elon Musk going to Saturday Night Live and doing the Doge Father, I honestly believe that that's going to be a huge event for Dogecoin and for all you guys. So I look forward to that. Now, what do I know? In the discussions that I had, with the Alpha Trader today, and shout out to Kenny. What's going on, Kenny? Kenny Crypto. I hope you're doing well. Shout out also to Oz. He's there. To James Bond in the house. Our moderator here doing great. If I talk about Kenny, in terms of what is going on. Shout out also to Infidel. Infidel, I appreciate everything. He has a great channel, a gaming channel. You guys pay attention to that. But let's look at the level of retracement here. And we were excited because it was crazily pumping. But now what it's doing, it's literally turning into a little bit of an erratic kind of mess to deal with. So let's look at kind of why this is happening, okay? Now, you'd say, well, how did you know that it was just going to be this amount, okay? This amount of price action right up on top of the essentially of the breakout. Well, let's look into the diagnostics for a minute. Let's kind of get the scalpel out, okay? That's what we typically do. I said, let's get the scalpel out. Let's take a look at this. First of all, let's look at the breakout and how this got a little bit messy, okay? A little bit difficult to judge, but how we were still able to do that. Okay, I'm going to apply different Fibonacci's to this and let you go through the analytics with me. Okay, now this here turned into, I would say, its own, that's like right about there. And we probably brought that right about here, as I recall yesterday. This turned into a Fibonacci retracement sequence that we were really focused on. We wanted to know, how can we accumulate this? Okay, we had a breakout from here. And every one of these micro events, guys, from the base to the top, this is the Fibonacci. That's the range of the Fibonacci, okay? That's a range of the price action from the base to the top, okay? We're going to draw that over, and what this does, it gives us some pre-calculated levels, guys, some pre-calculated levels of retracement. As it retraces, that's the dip, guys. That's the price dropping. When it drops, we want to pick up more of it. Okay, why do we want to pick up more of it? Because then we can ride it up to the next level. Okay, then we're lowering our cost of acquisition. We're lowering our cost basis. We're able to get more coins at a lower price. And you say this becomes difficult when, I'll tell you, it becomes difficult when you're looking at something and the price, look down here, and the price decides to do this. The price decides to do that, you see, because then you don't have any retracement. If you don't have any retracement, this becomes a difficult approach. Normally, though, I'll say very, very normally, you're not going to have this perfect straight line edge. You're at least going to have a 5, 10%, sometimes at least a 20% retracement. You'd say, and that's significant, guys, a 20% retracement within like the scope of this initiation of the price action to the top, a 22% retracement of that. Even in this area where it seems like there's not much of a retracement, there is still, okay, there's still the 22 point, what is that, 23.6, 22, my eyes are so tired right now, and I do have this memorized, 23.6 percentage of retracement. I've been on the computer for a while with the alpha traders in session, so if I get these all backwards at this point, it may be okay. Incidentally, if you guys, I don't know if you know this, but you can actually go into the settings. You can actually, if you'd like to, you can adjust each and every of these Fibonacci numbers. If you like say, well, I want to say it at 10%, I want to say it at 15 and 20. I want to change all these numbers. You can change all these numbers right here. We also have a custom one that we've set up, and I want to show you guys this. Okay, we have a custom one that's that we have put together. If you look at the way this is changed right now, so we can identify just this golden pocket, and that's one thing I work with in terms of the. See, all I'm doing is saving as I'm changing these defaults to where it's going to be normalized, like a normal picture here. This is actually the one from Binance. I've incorporated the one from Binance so that I can bring that over into the actual tradingview.com. This is the Binance setup, okay? I want to look at the Binance setup. I'd like to look at the default setup in TradingView. Then I'd like to be able to look at the golden pocket. And each one of these is going to provide me with the numbers, the percentage and the numbers, and it's going to provide me with a specific look that I've been able to set up so that I'm on par with everything Binance is on par with. I'm on par with the actual defaults also of TradingView. So I'm getting a look at all those different factions as I'm able to construct this a little bit differently than what would be average. So when we talk about different figures or changing the numbers, you can. I work with the defaults. I also like to work with the Binance. It's a little bit clearer, but you can see the numbers a little bit better. Those are the pricing targets, guys. Those are the reacquisition levels. If you sold out here at the top, that'd be fine. You can do that based upon the prior pricing action. I'll get into exactly how I knew this. We discussed this. And it was a great call by the alpha trader today. He got it perfectly, guys. He literally got it perfectly. He timed it perfectly. Like, hats off. Kenny Crypto is in the house, big time. Huge trade today, just in terms of the timing of the exit on that trade. Just phenomenal trader. He's doing very, very well. So what we look at, I've kind of let us see through this a little bit. This is kind of the Binance setup. If I want to change this one as well, I'm going to go into the settings. I'm going to put in on the template. That's right. Let's put in the Binance setup as well, so we can kind of see through these. It's a little bit easier for us to see the price action and the different levels of the Fibonacci. So the theory goes, we'd like to experience this incredible price increase when the velocity starts to cool off. There's kind of an indication something may be going on. Yeah, something may be happening. The retracement may be beginning. You'll get to where this is very intuitive when this starts to occur. Now, we saw on this one, it doesn't seem like there's much retracement, but really there's a 38.2% retracement, guys. That 38.2% can go into your pocket. It can go into your profits, guys. That's a lot to go into your profits. It's very positive. So that 38.2% is capitalized on once the exit occurs. And guys, people exit. All right, people are exiting at this price. You say, well, how is that possible? Well, I know that because the price is going down. Okay, people are selling, which is causing the price to go up. At this point, at the 38.2, people begin to buy. Then it goes up, people begin to sell. So then people begin to buy. Okay, so your cost basis here is improved by an efficiency of essentially 38.2% vis-a-vis, and I'm going to say compared to, let's say, let's just work in the retracement value of the base of this compared to the top. It gets a little bit confusing, but you understand you're capturing that in terms of your profitability. It's huge. It's not easy. It's not something that you wake up and just say, well, I just feel like doing this today. Why not? No, you have to spend a little bit of time. You have to understand what trading is. You have to understand why people do it. You have to understand how they do it. They buy low to sell high. And they buy low to sell high. They buy low potentially to sell high. They may buy low again to sell high. Okay, so the price action is going to dictate that. I do say I like the price action on Dogecoin. It's been predictable. It's been nice. It's hit at all the important levels. We look at right now, this important level right here. How did I know that this was, how did we know? And in my discussion today, my session that I was going over Dogecoin with the alpha trader today, Kenny, it was with Kenny. Kenny's a great guy, Kenny Crypto. How did I know this? How did I know to tell him this? Well, we go over something called a derivative gain analysis. I look at the previous levels, okay, the previous levels, and we cover this in detail, but I want you to know, this level right in here, you see this level right in here? That was the previous, most recent, just significant rise in price. Okay, that was the most fluid. It had a similar trajectory in terms of velocity. It was uninterrupted, and it just had a good go. It was a nice, smooth line to the upside. Okay, when I saw that, we discussed that particularly, and I said, given the breakout, and that's what was being traded here, the breakout. Okay, how did I know it was a breakout? Well, we were experiencing a little bit of a retracement, right? Something happened. I think Elon liked a tweet or something of that nature occurred, and we got a breakout. Now, what we had was a breakout, and I'm going to draw a line in here, but you guys see this previous intermittent high right here? The intermittent high, essentially, let's look at that. Let's mark that with a horizontal line. Okay, now that horizontal line, I will, that's fine. I can mark it just like that. Now, as we look at that, if we move this down, okay, this right here, this intermittent high was broken through when Elon released the news that he was going to do, I think, a Doge Father skit on Saturday Night Live. Going to be phenomenal. I can't wait for that. Now, as that broke through this previous high, this level, okay, this could have consolidated for a while more. Instead, we got that positive action. Bam, straight through. It dropped down. It used, as it broke through the previous resistance, as a line of resistance, as you see that change right there. And we go across, okay? It broke through that previous line of resistance, which was acting as kind of the interim high there, which had experienced also here. It broke through, it used that resistance, it tapped down as support now, and it went to the upside. This line right here, which represents this kind of uninterrupted, and I'm not going to change the slant because this is exactly how I had it in the discussion with him. That was a live discussion. It was very much on the record. It was very nice. As we look at that, that's the distance. That's essentially the magnitude of that uninterrupted, just very smooth trajectory that we saw there. So upon the breakout, we were discussing, well, what's going to occur? What can we reasonably expect? Do we want to go ahead and trade it? What are we going to do? And from a textbook standpoint, I said, absolutely you can. You can, from a textbook standpoint. It's a textbook breakout of a previous zone, okay, down into and a reconfirmation, let's say through the resistance, using the resistance now as support to the upside. Okay, how do we come up with this pricing target? We did a derivative gain analysis. We took a previous gain, we derived from that or extracted the information out, and we set that upon the breakout to achieve our target. Very simple, very real, very much realizable, and actually and done. Absolutely completed and done in terms of a trade. So when you hear of people day trading, or you hear of people that are actively trading a specific financial concern, this is a lot of the type of the work that they do. It's not for everyone. It's not always this sophisticated or this complicated, but it's definitely something you can understand. And if it interests you, we're excited that you're here and you're listening and you're learning, because this is the type of stuff that can be very interesting, and it could be very profitable. With that said, financial advice, go find a broker, guys. It's not going to be me. I'm going to teach you the essentials. I have a big long history and resume in terms of financial history, in terms of a financial professional career, and it's been very highly technical. I've worked with major consulting firms, the #1 consulting firm, and I'm not a money manager. I don't want to financially plan your lives out. So I would like to teach you guys some technicals, though. That's something I've focused on for a very long time, and I really enjoy that. So also private hedge fund ownership, and so I've had a lot of exposure to some great traders, and I've just enjoyed it. So we're glad that you're here, and not going to plan out your future or send your kids to college. That's not going to happen. Let's look at what has happened since then. Let's assume people got in, like I know they did. They were able to realize and maximize this gain. Great job to the alpha traders who picked up on this, and it was nice to be on the phone with you, Kenny. I'm glad that worked out. A brilliant trade, very, very well done. Now, along the lines of here, people want to know where do you start to draw a Fibonacci? At what point does this become reasonable to go ahead and throw in another Fibonacci here and say, let's go ahead and trade this. Let's go ahead and work on this, and let's start to reaccumulate here. Okay, because right now, guys, all we have is this huge, wonderful upward channel. At some point, it may decide that it wants to curve over and kind of complete a more overall retracement. It hasn't done that yet. It's been in, I have this this line here, and I want to show you guys just a little trick in terms of, double click on any trend line that you find. If you'd like to double click on any trend line that you draw, a trend line is right up here in the top. It's very easy. One of the most basic things of tradingview.com. I recommend on the website, tradingview.com. You can click on this. We can make this thicker, okay? Let's make this super thick so we can see this, all right? Let's double click on this one. Click up into here. I think that's the wrong. We want to make sure it's on this trend line. Yeah, let's click on that. Go to the thickness here at the bottom. Let's just ramp that up, okay? Let's go ahead and look at that. Because essentially what we have, I'm going to say, and these were all accumulation levels. I have drawn in, for instance, this level of the Fibonacci at this specific level to show you, even on this price action, we re-engaged what should be an accumulation level. This first level is kind of the first target that the exchange software, this TradingView, that it gives us to let us know that's a reasonable amount of retracement. There may be some buy-ins there. Sure enough, there was. How do we know? Because it hit this level exactly. So yes, the purchases went on there. When the price goes up, people are buying. Okay, so we know it hit there. We know people bought in. That's our strategy. As soon as it hits this first level, to put in orders. Okay, not everything. That's why we double and triple down. Okay, just a light amount of, let's say we say pepper in. Just go ahead and pepper in at this first level, whatever that amount is for anyone. And we always challenge people as well. Come up with your own strategy. Do your own calculations. If you have a different strategy, we'd love to hear it. This is one that makes a lot of sense to us, And it makes sense because you're not going to be overexposed in the top levels. Say, well, we could have made just more money holding on to it. You could have made, could have, would have, should have. At this point, we've had a phenomenal last 10 days or so trading Dogecoin with the with the general parameters that we've been able to develop. It's been a phenomenal. We've been hitting all the pricing targets. It's been going very well. And I'd rather hear a story of someone who comes to me and says, London, check it out. I've made 8 positive trades. The last 8 trades have been positive. That is exactly what I want to hear, rather than someone who holds on, goes for the extreme, and winds up getting washed out on 1 trade or 2 trades. Let's say 2 trades out of 8, and he was up, let's say he was up 85% or he was up 150% on 6 trades, and then he lost 80% on 2 trades. I would so much rather hear the person who says, yeah, I've made 8 trades, and guess what? I've averaged about between 5 and 8%. Or I've made 8 trades and I've averaged 10 to 12%. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. And it's been with maybe smaller amounts of cash. While people are learning, I love to hear that kind of stuff. So much better than I hear with someone who says, I tried to get in, I got in too high, and then it's dropped down, and now I'm stuck, I'm bored. It's been 2 or 3 weeks. We got in at 40, it's gone down to 20, and we don't know what to do. What should we do? Sell now. Oh my gosh, guys. Don't break my heart, because honestly, I really feel for those people. And some people say, no, it's their fault. Everyone has a duty to take care of their own money. I'm not harsh like that. I understand. Like, I started off the market when I was very young, and I understand getting involved in the hype, loving an investment, wanting it to go up, and it not going up and going down. And I just don't like when that happens. So we try and educate people on the fundamentals of not over involving yourself at higher levels. That's what these Fibonacci's do. As we talk about retracement, we're talking about the concept that after the price goes up, it's going to come back down. It's going to offer people an opportunity when it comes back down to become involved, to buy in once it's gone down. Having that in mind, that you want to buy once it goes down, okay, and more once it goes down more, the more that it goes down, wanting to buy more, that keeps you in line with the demand curve. And the demand curve is, the cheaper something is, the more demand there is. And not just right here. We never risk an exposure at a high level. And I'm talking about we never risk an exposure at anything that would require at a lower level or to have us to have an amount of capital to be able to re-engage and to deploy at the lower levels to double or triple down, and then thereafter, if it's to go down again, to triple down. Guys, we always keep reserve cash, and that's about how much cash I mean, in terms of my personal cash position, I don't want to discuss it exactly. I have lower amounts of cash at lower levels. I'm not, I don't fear at all becoming lightly involved at the top. That's fine with me. That's very fine. Now, in around the 61.8 to the 65%, this golden pocket, guys, this was a heavier level of investment. It just was. I know it was, because it's a key crucial ratio in any kind of a pricing dynamic. The golden ratio, guys, the golden pocket is the golden pocket for a reason. It's heavily traded. It's heavily looked at. Okay, so that is a big retracement of the overall price. And yes, people traded this very heavily. There were a lot of orders right here. I mean, it scooped up in a real downtrend, and you guys will recall Dogecoin was doing very well while some other coins were not doing well. So since then, it's been this nice trend line. We did redefine those lines. These orange lines are kind of like a trend line that are forming, and then we decided to break out of that. It would have been nice to maintain, maintain a trajectory on top of that. We can look to see whether or not we essentially are trying to do that. It's gotten really close. A trend line, guys, is just drawn and just represents multiple contacts of price action, okay? And we typically like it to be as clean as possible. They're not always clean. Sometimes they're kind of rough estimates. As we look at what's called a measured move, we'll look at a measured move. A measured move is essentially like the conduct of the price within this, and trying to accomplish somewhat like a swing trade. I'd say a swing trade. Swing traders know what measured moves are. We're gonna make a measured move within this channel. I want you guys to know, you can set pricing alerts. We can go into that in a special video. Jellica will probably cover that on a private stream. setting pricing alerts, getting information, how you get it, etc. I'll let some other people maybe deal with you guys on that. But it's those are some good functions of this overall. You don't have to be you don't have to be sitting and staring at your computer all day long to trade effectively. I'll just tell you that you don't have to do that. Technology's come a long way, guys. So a lot of the times you guys will get and receive something saying Dogecoin is up 18%. You'll get a notification on your phone, guys. That's the market maker. After people like us have entered into the market at a lower price on any type of a retracement level, and it's going to be difficult to say not on a retracement with us. I don't buy something that's gone or is going straight up. I just don't do it. If it's on a breakout, it's usually confirmed, so it's already retraced. People will say, you guys have heard this, guys. People will say all the time, okay, you need to get confirmation, right? Even on something that confirms a breakout. Realize what that means. That means it's gone up and it's going back down, and you have retraced. That's a small retracement, okay? And then it's going to confirm and take off, all right? So that is essentially another part of this. We're just not buying things that are just going up into the ether sphere or the stratosphere. That's not really the notion that we would get on something because we want it to go up an additional 5, 10, or 20%. It's already gone up 15%. Guys, it's difficult to play that game. Because when the market maker is pushing you that information, he's advertising to you, right? He's got goods to sell. When they're pushing you, oh, it's up 20%, you receive that on your phone. Ooh, I'm tempted to get in. Guess what? He has a product to unload. He's looking to sell it to you. All right, so that's the function of the market maker. The buyers who get in here, maybe not necessarily even getting in on high levels. Most of the times the guys making money in the market, they're getting in, maybe it's the 2 to 5% who make money. Okay, who are working retracements. As these go down, as you achieve kind of a negative price, which allows people to get in at a low, let's say it's an achievement because it allows you to get in at a lower price to capitalize on this, say, 10, 15, 20% drop here, then what happens? Well, you've bought in, and what happens? Well, the market maker takes it out, and he decides to sell it at a higher price. That's the correct function that you want the market maker to play for you. That the role that you want him to step in is, take me along for the ride. I want this many. I'm going to go ahead and capture this many Dogecoin. Get that price up there. When he goes to market it to all the rest of the community, okay, and says it's up 20%, he is unloading. He's giving you the opportunity to unload your goods. He's got those to sell. He's going to say, I'm going to go, these guys bought in, I'm going to go to a higher level, and I'm going to go ahead and sell them for them. So, that's a very standard function here in terms of a retracement, a profit achieved. Okay, and this is just standard, guys. If you watch if you've watched our videos, if you have paid attention, it's just very, very standard in terms of kind of what we put forth. As it gets down into the first level, this red level, we can zoom in on this to give you guys an idea. What would this look like on an average? Because I know it sounds like a lot. It's really not. It's just a Fibonacci retracement, and all these the retracements are just like a percentage of retracement. It's real easy. We could just put a 50% right here. Just make it real simple. It's gone up and it's going to come back 50%. It's that easy, guys. It's literally that easy. It's a default built into the program. It's gone up from the base to the top, and then it's got a 23.6% retracement. That's a standard number that's built into Fibonacci's. Or it's gone up and it retraces. The 50%, the 38.2%, 61.8. They're just specific numbers, guys, and they just have to deal with the market. They're on every single Binance that you log into. Literally, Binance has TradingView on every single one. And what does it have? You guys look at it. It has Fibonacci's. Why? Because they give people pricing targets to enter in on. So we're good at drawing them. I'd like to say that we're very good at drawing Fibonacci's. It's very important, in terms of those pricing targets. If you can't buy in at a low price, guys, it's gonna be very difficult to have success. And I always say, I just don't like to hear people who bought into at too high of a price. It just happens. But the whole idea is to buy low, sell high. And if you're not concerned at all with where you buy, you can't be assured that you're going to make money. This ticker that goes on the whole time, guys, it's currently at 37. Dogecoin's currently at 37 and 8/10 cents. Okay, almost 38 cents. Literally, the whole thing is based on a price. So what price are you going to get within the context of just a short move like this, a very short move, short duration? Guys, you're capturing on a 20% differential in the price. 20%. A lot of people are happy when they make 20%. I promise you're going to be a lot happier if you made this 20% when you get up to the positive price action. Essentially, sometimes you'll double your overall gain on this move if you got in at a better price. It sounds it sounds so basic and elementary that it's just that putting it into practice. It's like if I'm going to sell you a brand new Mercedes, you may say, great, I guarantee you're probably going to get into, well, what's the price? I want to know what the price is. A lot of you will be like, well, I don't want to pay that much for it. You'll go hassle with a car, with a Mercedes, with a different function like that. But when it comes into entering or spending 10 or 15 grand on or 20 grand, 20,000 or 1,000 or 500 on something like Dogecoin or something like whichever coin you're into. There's a lot of different coins that are doing very well. If you're looking at that, guys, how does it not make sense to want a good price? So that's all we do is focus on the Fibonacci's, and we try and create a good pricing dynamic, something that will not over leverage us. We want to minimize risk, okay? So we don't want to be over involved at higher prices. Very easy, very easy. We can go into this channel was broken out of. It kind of reminded me of Ethereum today. To tell you guys the truth, Bitcoin reminded me of Ethereum. You've probably seen that everywhere right now. I'm kind of tired of hearing about Ethereum, just because I know the gas fees. I know a lot of the people in this crowd enjoy looking at kind of smaller cap coins, and I don't think Ethereum is. I mean, I'm not going to hate on anything. How about that? I will speak positively about everything. I just don't like the gas fees. I'm not sure it's really great for the community. Hopefully, they get that under control. And it's not just some superstar before it needs to be. I hope they get that under control and that 2.0 comes out. We'd like to see some real fundamentals come out. Let me kind of take care of these arrows. You guys can go there, just double click and take those arrows on or off your drawings. That's real easy. Now, whoops, I say it's easy. There we go. As we look at this, the channel was broken out of. All right. Now we'd like to see what is occurring. It looks like it's gone up and above the channel. It's trying to maintain that channel. If it can, that would be fantastic. If it can maintain on top of this channel, it's possible. We do have a decent line in terms of the channel. We do have a decent measured move of this. I'd like to keep it relevant somehow, and I'd say that because if it gets too far above this channel, it could really have an abrupt move to the downside. So at the same time, while I'd like it to stay on top, I wouldn't like to see much of an abrupt move upwards quickly, because it could really interrupt even being able potentially to maintain this channel. So I would just say that it'd be nice to have just some essentially what's going on right now. That's nice to see. I'll say that, and based upon the previous pricing action, that's okay. Now this whole move here, assuming and guys, people got in at this level. I just tell you, it's not that's impossible. You can't argue with the fact the price is going up because people got in at this level. That's the 38.2. That's essentially 30 cents. Okay, so when it rebounded at 30 cents, this was just a Fibonacci. It's calculable as a Fibonacci. Okay, 38.2% on this recent pricing, this micro pricing action. People sold off right in here around, what was that, around 32.3. Okay, sold off. They rebought in, or maybe another round or the same round who's trading it bought back in at 30. Okay, so as they did that, then they achieved a great price action here. Let's look at that, 31%. Not bad, not bad. 31%. That's okay. Now, what was really calculable, what was really easy in terms of the pricing dynamic and where it was headed, was up at about, I'll say this area here, up at about 20%. That was something that was, relatively easy, because what this did, you didn't have much room, or you didn't have any reason to sell otherwise. And we'll go through the parameters here. If we look at this and we drag this kind of down, I'll raise this up a little bit. Let's move this up just a touch here. And I'll move it right here. Okay. Now, as you saw this break out here, this again was a breakout, kind of a premature, but just decided to break out to the upside. It broke out to the upside. You have a little stutter step here, but look what it did. It just decided to cruise on up, cruise on up. There wasn't a whole lot of reason to really argue with this at that time, okay? Because it broke out, it reconfirmed, and then it decided to just go. So on a traditional scale of what would be expected, guys, this is a very kind of a very reasonable move that you would very reasonably expect to just be a little bit patient with and kind of see where it wants to go. So you may have a question in terms of where it's going to go now. You may have a question in terms of what this is going to do, and in terms of the complication levels. I don't mean to overcomplicate things, but I do want to educate the crowd here, because you guys are very intelligent. I've dealt with many of you on the phone. I've dealt with many of you in Discords, etc. You're very intelligent, and I trust the fact that you guys do understand some of the basics here, and beyond that, you understand a lot of the complications here, guys. You're one of the best groups. I think this is the most intelligent group of traders that in terms of particularly in terms of Dogecoin, Harmony One, in terms of some of you guys can apply this to anything, and I've seen some of your charts in our Discord and in Twitter. You guys are just doing phenomenally well. So looking at this was another instance where you were able to reaccumulate in this zone. You got up above. There was a breakout of the channel, and look what we did. Look at what we did. Now you ran into something. You had another kind of a stutter step here. If you reached a threshold, a lot of people have a threshold, guys. They'll have a threshold. This is right around 10%. You'll see people with a threshold of 10% if things aren't just going absolutely wild. Okay. Now that 10% turns into 20%, turns into 30% very easily. Okay. And if you turn 20%, say 4 times, you've doubled your money. Okay. In the context while you're still trying to get people back to even, some people literally got in and still are trying to get back to even. The good news is they're almost back to even if they didn't sell. So we like to see that. That's very positive. We appreciate that very much. And the price action, guys, it's almost back to the original level here. It's on the line chart, about 42, 43 cents. That's nice. 45 is the ultimate high. So as we look at this is exciting news, guys. This is literally exciting because Dogecoin is primed. I'd say very well primed towards achieving a new high. I would want to compare it to some other things, but right now, guys, I don't think there's another coin that we should compare Dogecoin to. I just don't think that we should compare it to anything else right now. It's stood on its own. It's done extraordinarily well. The team with Elon and Mark Cuban, the entirety of Dogecoin, the infrastructure, let's say all of you Doge warriors, you Doge army, all the communities, including our own, it's just been phenomenally well, well directed and protected. The people who are kind of pushing the agendas and pushing the kind of the belief, the level of belief in it, it's just been well directed and protected. I think that Elon is doing a phenomenal job, and the people behind, even I have to say Binance, and it seems a little bit more this time, even Robinhood is doing a little bit better of a job. We'd like to see those wallets because right now you can't even use your Dogecoin. So we'd like to go ahead and see that. That's I think very crucial for the future. But as we look at this, we saw this breakout here, this reconfirmation. What did we get here, guys? If we look at the dotted line side to side, if we forget this channel for a minute, as we look at that, and I'll erase that channel so you guys can hone in on just these dotted lines. These dotted lines are essentially, as we go here to the left, you see that? It's essentially a line of resistance. It's broken through. It's essentially reconfirmed right here. There's a confirmation that occurs right in here, and I can move that. That's exactly right. Okay, exactly right over to the left. You see a breakthrough of the resistance. You see a touchback down to a point that turns into a support. You see a resistance, a clear resistance, right? You see a resistance. You see a break through the resistance and a touchback down to what now has become a support, and you see a move to the upside. Okay, now this is essentially this. This is exactly what we had done, and I will straighten that out. But this is exactly. It's my first time to move it. I've been through this a few times already, but I want to make sure anyone who's new in the chat or to the channel just has tuned in now. If you could hit the thumbs up or the like, I'll know how many new people are here as opposed to how many people have been here since the beginning. That will help us recover information if necessary. Now, this was from earlier on. This was exactly the amount that we calculated. All it is, this green arrow, was literally just the extent of this price action. So when I discussed that with Kenny and I were on the phone, he's like, I think I'm going to pull the trigger on this. Oh, you could. Absolutely. It's textbook. Okay, in textbook what? Well, there's a breakout of a previous resistance. Okay, that previous resistance literally defined by multiple touches along this resistance. Okay, and then we had a break through the resistance. We had a touchback to now what is this, a line of support, and then we had a move to the upside. So while it was in the mix of going to the upside, I said, well, on a derivative analysis to extract the information from the previous move, we're looking at something exactly along this line. We moved that up here, and sure enough, we called that perfectly. I called that perfectly, and it was good to be on the phone with you, Kenny. I'm glad that worked out perfectly. I think he set his, guys, not financial advice at all, just real simple analysis, just using the program tools, etc. If you guys want a broker, go get a broker. I don't want to sell you guys, particularly anything that's ever overpriced. Can you imagine you get someone with Merrill Lynch or someone with Fidelity, and they're told to sell you guys something, even though they know it may be overpriced? I would never want to do that to anybody. That's just not my cup of tea. I just don't want to do that. So I do like helping people understand the charting software and understand the dynamics of kind of trading. And yeah, we just need more people like you that are listening. We need more people like you in the community. So that's very positive, and yeah, very much appreciate that. So that's where we're at. We'd like to see now. The question is going to be: people want to know, and I think it's a valid question. As we look at, let's go back to the line chart. Let's explore this a little bit more fully, because right now we're talking about a breakout, okay, of a zone that's been identified as a previous resistance. We've been talking about, let's say we've been talking about Fibonacci's. Now, you might want to say, well, are we going to just apply the Fibonacci here? Well, you could. You could definitely apply the Fibonacci here. People will say, well, why wouldn't we apply the Fibonacci here? Okay. And then some people may say, we have to tell you, London, why wouldn't we just apply the Fibonacci here? This is where things become a little bit messy. I'm just going to say that. When you have a pricing action that looks like this is why I had the channel. Okay, the channel began to form. This change in the formation of, or essentially the change in the character of the trend. As the trend formed, it became less of just a strict play. Now, every time it's moved up, it has given us an opportunity to deploy the Fibonacci's to essentially give us ratio elements or ratio percentages at which we could buy in at a lower price. Okay, so looking at this, if we go back to the channel, that's the important thing that I started to discuss today in this session with the alpha trader, with Kenny. Kenny's an alpha trader, and we're really excited to be working with him. And we hope more trades, hope more great trades work out, continue to work out. I like that track record being built, Kenny. Just more consistent in the green trades. Can we stack up 30 of those in a row? Wouldn't that be great? You stack up 30 positive trades in a row. I don't care what amount of money you're playing with. If you guys stack up 30 trades in a row, I want to know about it. And no matter what philosophy or strategy you're using, I want to know about it. That's phenomenal. That's good news. So let's work towards that. I want to hear about only good trades from you guys. So, and you can do it definitely if you work those fibs, if you work the retracements, buying the dip, and letting the market maker do his job. You can definitely do it. That's exciting stuff, because that means you're really good. So a lot of you guys are good, and I'm looking forward to learning from you guys. So as we look at this channel has been forming, okay? We've broken out above this channel. Very similar to what Ethereum has done today. It's gotten into some new heights, and we just think this could be very positive for Dogecoin as well, that it's broken out above that. It does complicate it. I'd say it complicates a little bit in terms of if you guys wanted to reaccumulate here, would you base it on the breakout here, the previous? If we base it on the breakout of the previous, let's say the previous channel in and around here, if we base it on that breakout in and around here of that previous channel, it would essentially give you not much to work with, right? And I'm going to go ahead and say that, particularly now, because it's already essentially accomplished what you would want to try and get in on. And it puts a very aggressive slant. I'll say this: it puts a very aggressive slant on something that looks like it's already almost fully retracted here. Now, at the 78.6, you may receive some degree of I'd say some buy orders may go in. That may just occur. Now, it's gotten to the point where people who played this may not have, and this is consistent with my discussions with people, may not have played the fibs very hard here. You're getting up into this level of 40 definitely is kind of being touched upon, and we're getting into a level that's going to be consistently high, and may be, like, if we look over to this area right here, this may be a source of some friction. That's a previous level that it achieved, this 39 to this 40. Guys, it did very well today getting to that level. Very well getting back to this level. This is a huge accomplishment for Dogecoin. Setting this previous high on the line chart, setting this previous high, and it kind of meeting up to that level. Guys, that was a big accomplishment for Dogecoin. I think the news of Saturday Night Live of Elon Musk getting involved and saying, yes, I want to do a skit called, definitely, he said, I want to do a skit called The Doge Father. That's a big accomplishment. The fact that it could have broken through this, guys, you're gonna look at this. I would hope you look at this soon and be like, yes, this is big news, because we're about to set a new all-time high. So yeah, this is big news for people who've been involved in Dogecoin for a long time. It's really something that we anticipate will be a positive, positively received by everyone. Definitely very exciting news, and we're almost to that level. So as the retracement occurs, just understand this is a retracement that, again, always at the upper levels, we're just peppering in some money. Not a lot of heavy amount of cash is there. In terms of the strategy is the lower you go in price, the more people should be willing to invest. That's just in line with the demand curve, guys. If something's very, very expensive, guys, there's not going to be any demand. We normally bring up an example of like maybe $100 in this area. It's just for an example, okay? Then maybe we double down into like $200. Then maybe we triple down. Let's go double down and then triple down, okay? This is an example, 600. Triple down 1,800. Triple down 5,400. What that does is that aligns your mind with the notion, guys, that literally as you look at the pricing structure, you should have more money towards the bottom as a reserve, okay? Because every time you go down, if you do buy into high, I've never met anyone who said, you know what, I bought at a high level, but I had a lot more money, okay? So what I did when it went down, I just recapitalized. I invested a multiple or a significant amount of additional money into whatever investment we're talking about, or Dogecoin, whatever it may be. And yeah, I just rebalanced out my portfolio. Because say, I put in $1,000 here. It was too high. So what I did was when it retraced 50% or 60 to the golden pocket, I just threw in, from 1,000, I threw in like 45,000. Well, that's nice. Then the amount that you invested up top isn't even really, it's kind of inconsequential. Not that you can't enjoy or make money on that. If it decides to go to $1 or anything like that, it just decides to continue on the upside forever, the odds are it's going to retrace. But you understand there's kind of a multiple effect where if you go to a lower level, you're able to recapitalize and re-inject a larger amount of money, get more coins at a lower price. That makes the whole investment scenario seem a lot more feasible. It makes it seem a lot more, I'd say, interesting in terms of you achieving a profit. Okay, because then you're not over leveraged at the higher price. You have a degree of a groundwork of a foundation that you're ready to go and inject additional amounts of large capital into. And the numbers can vary. It doesn't have to be 1,000. It doesn't have to be and 20 on the bottom. It doesn't have to be like this. These are just examples. When I tell people to do your own calculations, I literally mean, these are calculations that I've come up with based upon some of the discussions that I've heard from some of the key investors and their representatives. So I understand that there's kind of a double down approach or a double or triple down approach. I use that on the overall fibs to just remind us to keep the cash lower, the heavy amounts of cash lower, reserve cash, insurance on this whole process lower. Not that you don't deploy it. And as I talk about like real reasonable figures with 100, 200, 600, 1,800, 5,400, understand that those amounts become involved in and around once you get into like the golden pocket. So these were big gains here. This had a relatively higher amount of cash, a pretty decent level of cash in and around that golden pocket. So that's what we like to see. That's the type of gain that we like to see. Some of you, I know, some of you got involved at that golden pocket and you haven't sold. Okay, you have not sold. You didn't care about taking advantage of the whether that's 5,400 or 1,800, whatever it was. You didn't care about selling and recapitalizing 20%. You didn't care about selling again and trying to get in at and this was, I think, was that 23%? What was the percentage here again? That was, let's just look at it. Yeah, you didn't care about, it actually hit your golden pocket. So you didn't care about the 61% retracement here. You just didn't care about that. You just went ahead and you decided to just hold. You're going to hold from this position and hold from, let's say, hold from this position, hold when it goes high. You're going to keep holding the whole way. That's fine. Other people want to capitalize on that 61%, 61.8% retracement, okay? So, that's just the way it is. That's the way the market has gone. And it, in terms of the complication, the only thing we have to look towards now is, the difference between people who have held, people who are trading. I'd like to know the difference. This is a channel that likes to trade quite a bit. And as we get into, you guys are not going to want to trade until one thing's happened. A lot of people, when you hit $1, and listen to this, mark the words, when you hit $1, a lot of people are going to cash out. I'm not going to say that I would or anyone else might, but I'm going to say a lot of people, okay, in general, I'm going to estimate a lot of people are going to cash out at $1. They're waiting for it to get to $1, and then they're going to sell. And then what are they going to do? They're going to sell it, and then they're going to wish they hadn't sold it, and then they're going to pick it back up. So in terms of trading, the whole notion of, well, I have enough money in my account is doing well. That's what a good trade is. You've entered at a good price. You can't knock anybody for that necessarily, right? Not everyone's just going to hold the whole time. A lot of people enjoy the market. This is what we're involved in. This is what we like to do, guys. We spend all kinds of of time and energy towards it. We want to perfect it. So always protect yourself on the downside. Keep that amount of cash kind of liquid. Keep yourself some going, an extra tank or two, right, at least on the lower end, so you don't run out of gas along the way. So as we look at this, we'd love to see this continue, just as this right here, okay, acted as a kind of a threshold, given kind of a double top, and we achieved a breakthrough, essentially a standard textbook pattern for financial analysts. Okay, it broke through. We achieved a nice little move, probably about 10%. What did we get on this? Not much, about 7% from the previous. This is where it's a little bit interesting. From the previous acquisition level of the engagement of this first level of the Fibonacci, i.e. it went up, it started to retrace, there's an engagement of money after the sell. Okay, you're really getting a good picture of the price action, guys. This is about a 12 to 7, okay, 12%. But you're seeing that when you engage this, people are selling here, they're buying here. So this is going on. Whether or not this dynamic is appreciated, this dynamic is going on. And the reason it's moving is because people are selling and people are buying. People are selling and people are buying. And so if you can fall into that groove and have a good technique in terms of what you're looking at, or let's say a good technique in terms of how you're trying to achieve your gains, it's real simple if you try to buy low and sell high. So we do appreciate you tuning in. And I'd like to see in the chat, if you guys would just light us up with where you're from tonight. We haven't done that yet. Let me know where you guys are from. I'd love to see just around the world where you're from. We have a great group, and they're just kind of all over. So let's get into the chat, and you guys let me know where you're from. If you just arrived and you weren't here the whole time, if you click the like button or the thumbs up, I would love to know that you just arrived. We're going to went over some information that's not so technical in the very beginning. We'd be happy to go over that again, and let me know where you're from. Excuse me. We're going through a kind of a winter storm, a rainstorm here in Texas. So let's look at the the overall trajectory since the recovery. And people don't. I guess what isn't maybe well received is people not understanding why you just don't hold. People may want to say, "Well, I just want to hold. I don't understand why you just don't hold." And I understand that argument, but I also understand that we just went through a 50% retracement. So the people who belong kind of in this community and are really technical, they do understand very well that this thing just went through a 50% retracement. This has been a very volatile circumstance. This was a negative 34% in and along since this. It's really, guys, from the 45% up, this retraced. Let's do this. From the 45%, this fell down about 50% once here. Then it fell down about 50% again here. So in the context of people just wanting you to hold on, etc., there's a lot of people that are not going to tolerate, they don't want to tolerate. It's not nice for them to lose 60% of the value of their holdings. Okay? So that literally occurred. That was 60%, 62% of the value of their holdings. All right? That's a lot. And that's enough not to like something. That's enough to say, well, wow, 62% that it went down during this time period. As you're looking at this chart, 62%. That's a lot, guys. You have $100,000 and it turns into $38,000. Okay, you have $100,000, it turns into $38,000 from $100,000. And so people are supposed to just be bulletproof to that. They're supposed to just go ahead and, you guys understand, yes, you understand that, right? $100,000 turning into $38,000, ouch, right? So the scaled in approach here, the kind of take it easy approach, the kind of, make sure we know what we're doing on trades, etc. approach, I'll just tell you, that is because people watched $100,000 turn into $38,000, guys. That's a big move. Whether or not you got it in on the ground floor and you watched it go to $100,000, then it turned into $38,000. It's highly difficult emotionally for people to go through this in terms of the market. Some people can distance themselves very well and just put forth kind of a pattern strategy. That's fine. A lot of you just, if you're tuned into technicals, you understand that pricing dynamic. You understand being well protected and having more money on the downside to act as insurance. You understand that, okay? So we understand that we embrace that ideology of you guys having more protection on the downside. That's what we want to kind of engender. We want to kind of fuel that notion that you guys would protect yourself on the downside. So it's one thing to say, well, it might at this point it might go to $1, guys. It might, you know, I think there's a good chance of it going to $1. I've already said that, but the point is, it's already at about 40 cents, right? So that's a 2.5x. That's okay. That's significant, but that's like a 2 to 2.5x. You know, you've done a lot better than that just within the last 3 weeks here. It's increased more than that just in the last 3 weeks. So you're expecting and hoping for a bigger price action on the upside. Then, you know, you've already experienced that, let's say that, in the last 3 weeks, more than that. So that's nice. That's nice that that's already been accomplished. It's nice that the next move up would be less of a feat in terms of the overall percentage gains than what has been accomplished here. And it is nice that it's experienced a little bit of a retracement so that we can build kind of the fundamentals in here. So we'll see if this, the acquisitions have been, I'd say that the Fibonacci's have been only frustrated by the extent to which things got a little bit excited early, probably by the notion that this Saturday Night Live skit is going to come up. I think that's on next weekend, guys. It's on next weekend, a week from today on the 8th. I think that's going to be coming up. So look forward to that. I think Elon's going to impress everybody. He's probably going to be talking about Dogecoin. And you guys will probably know that the price action here may be a little bit chaotic. So if everything holds true to form, we'll kind of see, someone did mention today, a potential cup and handle. Okay, and I'm going to bring that up real quickly for those of you that are still here. I would pay attention to this, because a typical cup and handle is going to require not just a push up. And I was going through this with somebody, aside from I think the alpha trader today. But what I'll say is this cup right here will form typically. What will also occur is, and it's required for the handle formation, is we get into, let's say, and I just did bring up the handle formation of something like this. And now, in terms of how deep that would be, we can discuss that. You know, that's up for kind of a debate. But that would require, I'd say, at least if we would return back through to this portion and this downward sloping, I'd say this upward sloping, but supported along these lines of resistance, already two major contacts perfectly along this line of resistance. If we were to return to this, it may not seem like much fun. People are like, well, here it goes down. It won't bother people who have more on the lower side, okay, who have more on the lower at the lower levels ready to kind of double down. They'll probably pick this up as the handle formation on the cup and handle. So right now, people, yes, everyone would like it to remain outside of this channel. It's broken through. What was the resistance is now the support, we hope. We'll see how that develops. But what I would say is, if it wants to, I mean, it would seem like it's kind of crashing down. It would be a kind of a volatile move here. But if it wants to go retest this former line of support here that is kind of built in horizontally, if it wants to do that, it looks like it's going to be forming kind of the handle formation on a cup and handle. So I think that's very positive, and I'll just do something like this. If we can just, why don't we do that and pull this down into something that's real reasonable. You know, that would give you kind of the handle formation on the cup and handle kind of pattern. It's a classic, very classic technical analysis. You see this, this is very much just a nice swooping cup. You need a handle. So it may create some additional negative price action, what will seem like a negative price action, but it's a very bullish move, guys. You should look at this in terms of it being a very bullish move to the upside. If this cup gets, it has been formed already, the cup has been formed, if we can get that handle. And it's not going to be a small handle, guys. So this would be just some kind of channel work in here. If you see the channel that's going to be in just this, this diagonal sloping channel, that's going to be different. That will be a different formation if it continues to kind of chug along here. This is not enough to constitute the handle. So it looks like it's trying to bounce off of this channel line. So that's something it's nice to see. I would say as we can do that, we're going to maintain a very bullish trend. You guys, I'd like to know which ones of you got in at this. You know, and you're going to tell. We know by your threshold, okay? How many of you got in at this point? I know a lot of people in the Discord. I shot that out while things were falling to pieces here. Okay, and this was not a reality. This elimination of 60 or 50% of the value of people's portfolio that I was close to, because we were out. Okay, that's the deal. Is we, meaning the group, everyone that I knew was out. All right, was out of the trade when this occurred, and that's okay. I didn't want anyone. I didn't want to see anyone experience a 65% retracement. That's very brutal, guys. That's 100 grand into, what was it, 38 grand, something like that. That's pretty tough, guys. It's pretty tough. So difficult to kind of stomach that kind of a loss. Now, this is nice and smooth. If we can stay nice and smooth, I think it's great. We did bring up this earlier on. We'd like to see this one, okay, essentially the one. We'd like to see that. Then we'd like to see it on the upside. So I think that can definitely occur. I'd be surprised if, as I put the 1 and the 2, if this does not occur in and around the time period of Elon Musk going to Saturday Night Live, SNL, and if it's not funny and great, and he's mentioning Dogecoin, and they may make some spoofs on it. I mean, for a funny coin, Saturday Night Live may be a lot of fun. So I'll just say that. And we really appreciate you guys being here. It's going to be kind of a short, I know it's Saturday night. I want you guys to have fun. Let's see if there's anything on here you guys are discussing that needs kind of some attention. Let's see. Rio Rancho. Benny Chavez. Hey, what's up, Benny Chavez? I want to give Rio Rancho, Texas a big shout out. I appreciate that. Benny has joined into the base camp. He is a member of base camp. You guys can join in, and you are literally a member of base camp. I did base camp because, like, Benny is now a member, okay? He's a member of base camp. What I like about that, guys, if you go to Mount Everest in Nepal, I've been in Nepal, they have base camp. And base camp is where you reacclimate, you get together, and you kind of spend time at altitude before you go and trek up to Mount Everest. So what I like about that is the fact that, guys, we're going up. All right, like Mount Everest, we're going up. So all of you that are forming into base camp, I want you to know that, yes, definitely, we are going up. That is the notion here. As you hear us selling and buying and working for another 20%, 30%, we're trying to achieve alpha. Alpha is the percentage by which we beat the market. I want this to be, I mean, I like to be part of the tough crew that's beating the market every direction possible. That's just what I like. That's what I like to do. That's what I'm driven to do. That's why I like the market. You know, why else am I going to look at charts? Why else am I going to look at the current pricing, you know? Otherwise, I just throw the key away and I put it in a safe deposit box. I lock it up and that's it. You know, no, I'm involved in the market. I enjoy the market. So that's what we're looking at. So base camp is full of people who know we're going up. It's like Everest, guys. It's like that Nepalese base camp on the way to Everest. That's where we're headed up. So that's why I called that member level that you can join in. It's a couple bucks a month. It's not a big deal, but it gives you a different kind of flavor here that I can actually look at who said what in terms of it gives you a little icon. So that's nice for me to be able to see and respond to you guys in the chats. It's nice. In case you missed it, Angelina, there is also a previous video on this YouTube channel that explains all the pricing and features. Yeah, it does. It explains some different stuff. Oh yeah, definitely on both the. I always thought you meant in terms of crypto. There's also a purchasing crypto where I go over a lot of the details, and the guys, a lot of the videos talk about the details in terms of the. What are they? In terms of how to buy crypto, we always talk about, like, well, you buy the dip. Well, how do we even know where on the dip you're supposed to buy? Guys, they're pre-calculated levels on this Fibonacci. That's why we go over them. It sounds real fancy, but yeah, some people may not like the mathematics involved. It's just how you buy a dip. You know, it's real easy. They've made it as simple. Think about it. We get this colored box, and we just draw this line from the bottom to the top. It can't get a whole lot easier, guys. And they automatically include the numbers, guys. They include the figures here to the right. So it's not like rocket science, you know, it's not like really complicated. We can do this, you know. I know we can do this. So yeah, no worries. I know we can do this. And got the dip. Are any of you guys doing well? Have you guys have any of you guys I don't know, what have you found? Let's see what we have. I'm going to add Kenny back. Let's see. I think Kenny is now a moderator here local. I want you guys to be able to look to him. He's a good community leader. He's a good man. So yeah, I think I've added you as a moderator. You should show up as that. You guys, Kenny Crypto is in the chat right now, and he executed a brilliant trade today, kind of a textbook, nice trade today. I was on the phone with him. He's like, I really think this is good. I'm like, well, you think it's good? I think you should do it. And he went ahead and did it, and he had a great experience. So. We'll see if this holds, this bounce off of this channel line, and these are real technicals. I have some real bold lines drawn out. We don't always do that. Hey, welcome to Base Camp, Jeff. That's fantastic, Jeff Arnett. That is wild. That is awesome, bro. Welcome to Base Camp. And Benny, I didn't give you a big shout out and welcome to Base Camp. I really want to welcome you too. I guess I just missed it for a second. I apologize for that, Benny. But yeah, you guys are part of Base Camp, guys. Where are we going, huh? We're going up. I want you guys to know, definitely we're going up. So that's just overall, that's where I think we're headed in the long run, and we're gonna have a lot of fun doing it too. This is the right group. You guys are highly technical. I love having a smart group of people. It's just nice, isn't it? I mean, you guys are able to get through kind of all the details, and it's nice to have some leaders forming in here. You guys that are joining that base camp, I think it's $2.99 a month or something, guys. I wanted something that's just not. It's kind of innocuous. It's like it's $2.99. It's like it's less than a cup of coffee, I think, and you can have fun. You guys can interact with each other, and we'll form some different stuff here on YouTube. In addition, because some people may not like Discord, they may not like the different groups, and we'll be able to just to have some fun. I know we'll be able to have some fun. And yeah, that'll be great. There you go, Kenny Crypto. I just would woot woot. I just put that on. Shout out to James Bond. Another special shout out I want to do to Kurt. What's up, Kurt, in the Discord? You're doing such a great job, brother. It's so nice to have you. Big member of the Harmony One crew. He loves Harmony One, and we really appreciate having him around. He's also got some great input for everything, for Dogecoin and whatever else you guys can get his opinion on. He's great. Kurt's in the Discord. He's always there. Really nice guy. And Mr. V Crypto is awesome. Okay, in that Discord as well, doing a great job. Sanket is also a great job over there. Shout out to the other alpha traders. Bianca, doing a wonderful job. She's from Argentina, beautiful Argentina. So it's nice to have Bianca working very hard, very brilliant girl. Also, Kent is doing a great job with the alpha traders, as is Kenny, as you guys know that. Really fantastic. Looks like we have another, can you check Harmony? You got it, Rogue Killer. I definitely can, and I appreciate that without a doubt. And yeah, if you want to, Rogue Killer, I appreciate that. It's $2 if you want to join Basecamp next time. Just throw in and go ahead and join Basecamp. We'd love to have you in Basecamp, bro. We're going up. We're going like Everest, bro. We're going up. So in general, let's take a look at. But you can do that, and then I should be able to hopefully read for having you. Can't go without your info. Hey, Jeff, I appreciate hearing that, brother. What a nice statement, huh, Jeff? Saying thank you for having me. Can't go without your info. That's really fantastic. So that's really nice in terms of the, let's go into Harmony One real quickly. And I think I just hit some sort of a button in between the phone and something else. If that happens, I am sorry. I will have to get that revised real quickly. Let's check in real quickly, briefly with, and I just interface between my phone and the overall system. So that may not be a good idea. Let's see if we can just relax for a moment on my system. That was my fault. I apologize. Rogue, and maybe they don't like the name. Maybe there's a pause in the function here because maybe that name has brought something up. I'm wondering if that name has brought something up. I don't know. I think we have to work on that name in terms of that name that was just mentioned. Maybe that name was just a problem with the system. So I will just bring that up. And yeah, I think that has been maybe a problem with the system. So yeah, I'm glad that maybe that pause did occur, and I did I interfaced the phone with the system here. So yeah, in terms of that overall, the moderation, etc., I just think that is potentially a problem in terms of that name that was just mentioned. And I want you guys to to understand that that's just going to be kind of the way that things are going to go. We have a strict policy, and I guess that does make sense. There was kind of a lapse there, and I just appreciate all the moderated help there. Thank you guys very much for that, and I will get a snapshot of that just for the benefit and the well-being of the overall community. I think that's fine, because at first I just thought, okay, military, okay, something like that, but that obviously was picked up by the algorithm. So I understand that very much, and I appreciate the algorithm for picking that up, and that was a direction to, sorry that is in the direction of something that maybe we should not follow that direction. Maybe we should just stick with Dogecoin. So I know that's just unfortunate, and that's okay though, guys. Things happen all the time, and I don't even think maybe it was intentional, but it's just it's something that I think is kind of beyond the content of what we're trying to achieve here. So in terms of that name that did pop up, we'll just recognize that for what it was. It constituted an interruption for whatever reason in the overall portfolio or profile. Hopefully not your portfolios, but yeah, if you guys would like something done like that, just make sure you watch your names and that we're paying attention to stuff like that. And we would like to you to have positive names and a positive interaction. Our Discord is nothing that involves any kind of hate speech. We actually have no hate speech, no violence, no harassment, no anything like that at all. So everything is just very positive and very professional. So sometimes it's hard when we've been up for a long time and we're on the computer screen and we're all on the internet and we all have different cultures, and some of us are warriors and some of us are, who knows, some of us are literally, some of you are literally, Green Berets, some of you very tough guys, all right? So, I don't know where that line is drawn in the sand, but if the algorithm picks up on it and kind of kicks that off, I guess that's just, that's kicked off. So, we can't do anything about that. That's the way that is. So let's be excited about the trades, okay? What we enjoy doing, and I'm not real big into just canceling things. That's not my intention at all. Like, I don't want to cancel like the rodeo in Texas or things like that. But when things have to go through like that and it's not up to me, it's done. It's not even up to me. So that's just it. If the feed is interrupted, that's it. It's zero explanation. It's a fact of what happened. So come back at us with a different name and whoever's involved, and we definitely look forward to helping out and doing everything that we can. That's what we're all about. So it looks like on this recent price action, it's kind of a minuscule price action. It looks very minuscule. It's still a big run up on Dogecoin here. So as we look at that, let's just anticipate maybe this is kind of a reconfirmation right outside, essentially right in line with this pattern that's forming, and maybe it can decide to go up from there. I would expect good things on Dogecoin over the next week. Now, we may experience somewhat of a correction before that, or we may just continue to go through the roof. I'm not sure how many people are just kind of indignant about getting involved into, hey, now we have Andres Omberg. Andres Omberg, how are you, sir? Nice, welcome to Base Camp. We like to hear that. That's really phenomenal, Andres. I'd like to know where you guys are from. Andres, where are you from? Sounds like Hispanic, maybe overseas, etc. Yeah, you guys, if you want to form into Base Camp, it's going to be cool because we're going to have a nice list of people from Base Camp. So that's really nice. It's people that are committed to we're going up, right? We're Base Camp, Everest, etc. So, and I know you're highly technical too, so it'll be nice to formulate a crew that's highly technical. You guys will be able to discuss things about kind of the mission of us going up, and it'll just be fun. You guys will get custom emojis, everything else, and you'll get custom private chats, and you'll be, you'll be with a group, be with a good group. Shout out to Fibonacci. Hey, Fibonacci, big shout out to Fibonacci. By whom? By Red Raider. Guys, Red Raider is one of the leaders. He's the Texas stud, guys. He and his family are very involved with the channel here. Just good people, guys. You got some great people to kind of pay attention to, and nice to hear from you. A bunch of Doge fans, guys. A bunch of Dogecoin fans, and just people who like to make money, who enjoy price action and like to see technical charts, like to enter into trades like what we entered into earlier with Kenny Crypto. That was a lot of fun, and people who just want to support each other. A nice, good community that pulls together. We hear good morning, we hear good night all the time on our channels and in Discord, and the fact that we're going to be coming with with good, I'd say with real good additional live streams, kind of exclusive live streams and some different content. I think that'll really help bring everybody together. So I'm really looking forward to that, and we'll really work on some exclusive content, and we'll be working with people like you in Base Camp, even you guys in Base Camp, even you guys in particularly the moderators from Red Raider to the other guys. We'll be working on those the exclusivity of that and what exactly that will entail. But the key is going to be it's going to involve value. I want it to involve value at a very high level, and not just generic information that you're finding. I have a history of putting reports together for CEOs. That's been kind of part of, and in financial reports for what I do, the 10K, et cetera, for the shareholders of a major corporation. I've done that in the past, right? So yeah, that's the level of sophistication that I'd like to kind of bring forth to individuals who kind of need that level of that level of maybe sophistication in maybe a crypto sphere that's maybe kind of lacking that. Now, it can't be perfect. So as you guys look at that, that's what I'll endeavor to do, what I'll endeavor to try and achieve, and just so you guys know kind of where that's coming from. And that's real important. I'll give another shout out to Infidel. I appreciate Infidel. I think it's a brand, guys. I think it's a game, actually. that's a cartoon game. I'm not sure what that is, like an animated cartoon game. So in terms of that, there is a shout out to that is a game channel on, and it's an actual player video game. So, but he has done some work in terms of recommending some different. I think it's a gaming mining PC, something like that. He's really good with different hash rates and stuff for mining cryptocurrency. So that's an arcade game, And yeah, he does have an arcade channel. So anyway, I think that's it's nice to mention him, and it's nice to mention kind of everybody who's kind of joining the crew on the base camp. We just appreciate that from Andres. And let's see if he wrote where you're from, Andres. Hey, I had a good friend from was it Sweden or Norway named Håkon. He was really nice guy. Huge fan of Sweden, of Switzerland, all things Zermatthofen. In and around, yeah, the beauty of Sweden and Switzerland cannot be beat. So, well, what I'll do, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. It's been kind of a long day, and it looks like, yeah, we're just going to kind of wrap it up here. I'd like you guys to maybe watch that video if you'd like to watch a video and get kind of an explanation. If you'd like an explanation of, let's see if we can pull this up. This was the Discord server there. Yeah, we've got pretty much everything in line. We're gonna go ahead and just call it what we want to see again as we kind of conclude here is we want to see the number one, okay, this number one turn into the number two. We want to see a dramatic shift up from the 1 to the 2. And that's what we want to occur. So it looks like it looks like someone is kind of chopping into the feed here, and it seems like we may have had a problem with one of the persons who's joined. So we're going to call it a night. We appreciate everything, and yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys have a good night. We'll come back to you with more soon, and yeah. Take care of yourselves, protect your portfolios, head over to the Discord, and we'll probably talk to you soon. I think it's caused a kind of a problem in terms of the feed with maybe 1 or 2 of the people who has decided to out their name in a certain way or something. So we're going to go to the Discord. We'll come back to this, and we'll work on some sort of a moderation that doesn't include any kind of a disruption. So that's why there's been kind of a pause here and there, and that's not it's not perfect, but just want to let you know that that's kind of what may have gone on. I'll work with YouTube and figure if there's just a way to make sure that doesn't happen, because I don't think there's bad things intended, but bad things, I don't know, their algorithm may be a certain way, and we don't want to be, I think there's a lot of military guys in here. Tomorrow I have I'm going to meet with, yeah, different people who are they're in military. So some of it's military culture, some of it's just maybe game culture. I'm not sure what the difference is, to tell you the truth. So between some of these names or not. So that's it. We're going to go to the Discord for a while. We'll be over there. You guys review this other. There's this other video if we could pull into it, but if